You know what it's like to be on the bill and to play for 15 minutes, and the only people there to see you are the other bands and their girlfriends?
From Buffalo, New York, it's the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast.
Welcome to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, where you can have a 102-degree fever for 2 weeks, dehydration, exhaustion, get a tooth removed, and still show up for episode 97. I'm Ryan Gurnett. Cassidy, how's your summer been?
Oh my gosh, Ryan. I'm Cassidy Dwan. My summer's been awesome. And dude, are you okay?
I'm here, aren't I? On episode number 97 of the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, we'll be joined by Nick, Frank, and Mike of Gimme Gimme. Hey, guys.
Woo! They're here.
Hey. Hello.
We'll be discussing covering a cover band, their formation, and talking some fun stories from a long history in the local music scene.
Yeah. So we'll also be discussing the 2022 Music is Art Festival. We'll do a quick recap of the 2022 Buffalo Infringement Festival, as well as play music from Spud, West Ferry, and Marina Laurendi.
It is some good music on this episode.
Awesome.
I'm excited. But first,
no drum roll. Drum roll.
Bum, bum. I got to be a member of Green Schwinn and Red Huffy for an afternoon. I was not at Music is Art, but they invited me to fill in for them at Westside Tilth Farm on that same day.
Ooh, that's a beautiful place to be.
It is a fantastic place.
Do they have pizzas all the time there?
Yes, they do. And they tricked me because they were like, we have vegan pizza. I'm like, all they have is vegan pizzas. And they're like, no, we don't have vegan pizzas. We have cheese. And I'm like, so you have vegetarian pizza? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, it's the same thing.
No.
It doesn't have meat on it. It is the same thing.
How uncool you sounded.
I'm okay with that.
At the Westside Tilth Farms.
I sound uncool on every episode.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
There's consistency in this operation.
I was going to say, consistency is all that matters.
But yeah, no, they have great veggies. You can get those pizzas there, which do actually look delicious, despite the fact that they're vegetarian.
They take like SNAP benefits and stuff for all of the produce.
I didn't know
and
that.
That's really
fantastic.
Cool. There's local vendors. Our friend, friend of mine, so therefore friend of the podcast, John Spindler, is a deaf beekeeper who has honey that's like local honey with the freaking honeycomb right in it.
Yeah, he was there.
So that's great. I was there recently during Infringement Festival, where I met my new best friend, Vocero Omar.
Yes.
And
he's great. We'll have him on an episode soon enough.
That was also La Marimba.
Yes.
There at the farm, which was, I mean, who doesn't want marimbas playing on a sunny summer afternoon at the farm while people are just like frolicking about? And there was a wand making workshop.
Oh yeah.
But there was actual frolicking because
frolicking
there
like
was
the midget in
marimba,
that one safety dance
world
video?
music echoing.
Yeah, there were actually kids frolicking when I was there too.
Stinking beautiful.
Wait, he had a mandolin.
We were handing out shakers. There was some banjo, but I got to play sandwiches twice because we got special requested for it. A podcast favorite. I didn't realize that was a Raffi song.
It's still a lovely.
Oh, I know, but
song.
Definitely not something we should have played on the podcast. But yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. I've known John Blake and Pam Swartz for a long time. I never really hung out with the guitar player, Andy. They're all really fun, interesting guys. It was really easy to jump on. They had charts for the first half and not for the second half. So when I didn't know a song, I would just slowly turn my bass down and pick up a shaker. I'm still being effective. So that was just really cool, and I just wanted to mention that.
I need a shaker.
Let's talk about Buffalo Infringement Festival.
Hold on just a second. They have regular music there at the farm?
It seems like every Saturday morning from noon to 2.
Good.
Because I know you saw La Marimba and Vocero Omar there when I was there for Infringement Festival the Saturday prior. Erica Wolfling.
Love that.
Oh, she's so good.
Right. Her voice in that space would also be kind of dreamy, I think.
Yeah, and she doesn't play out a lot
right.
Recently, so it was just a pleasure getting to see her.
Awesome.
So, 2022 Infringement Festival. We don't have a ton of time to talk about it, but do you have highlights, favorites, things you want to talk about?
I can tell you the things that I saw that were done well. I mean, I really stuck to my kid-friendly aspects of things, and I was very, very pleased with our attendance for Kid Fringement this year.
Sure.
As well as the closing ceremonies, parade ending, culmination there in Days Park was just so joyful. I get really sappy these days And maybe it's the whole with my kids and
Yeah,
the local
you're
music and
getting
the
old.
kids. But like, I do get a little tearsy when everybody's all just that joyful. It was
good.
beautiful,
Good.
right? So I know that
It's all about
things
being happy, right?
in true infringement nature, you know, there were as always these like switch hitter type moments during infringement, but it seemed like this year, comparative analysis, the festival went off without as many fobble.
Real quickly, one of the few hitches we had was we switched a show from last minute into my backyard.
I know this.
And I'm like, it's like an hour and 45 minutes. There's going to be like 10 people here. My landlord showed up, and I'm lucky I still have an apartment after that. He screamed at me for what felt like an hour straight. Because I wanted to do an art show for First Friday, but it fell through because there's so much in the festival happening during those days, I couldn't do anything. So he's like, we were going to talk about this, and you lied to me. And I'm like, it's in the program. It was last minute. And let me tell you, if he found out the show 2 days earlier in my backyard happened, I would definitely not have an apartment right now.
No.
Dennis doesn't watch the
Your show
podcast,
out
does
of the
he?
trailer that you'd have been living in.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Not a friend of the podcast.
But anyway,
Right.
other things that happened.
Yeah.
There was a performer named Poos the Puppet, and oh my God, I have been involved with infringement for 5 years. That is the most batshit crazy thing I've ever seen. It was so great. We were doing an LGBT night at Milky's, and the last performer didn't show up. And Poos was there, and I've had people telling me about this guy in these performances. So he's like, dude, I'll do a set. And I'm like, yeah. That's exactly what we need.
Okay.
And then, like, there's people walking into Milky's at like 12:30 at night, and I'm like, guys, okay, here's what's going on. It's Infringement Festival, and they're like, what's that? I'm like, there's no time. You're about to see the craziest act in the festival. He's just said, just sit down, and oh my God, the first time he played at Milky's, I kept walking out so I could either smoke more or drink more because I just felt like I wasn't
wanna
inebriated
understand it better
enough
because-
for the I'm getting
Yeah,
there. The
okay.
insanity. The second time, I saw him like 2 days later, and I actually sat through the whole show. I can still barely tell you what I saw. It was so bananas. He starts off with a creepy baby head mask with a little doll baby with a backing track that's going baby, 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 and he's going around the crowd introducing the baby to
That's
people.
creepy.
And then there's a backing track where there's puppets talking, and he's using them on stage. Then like a demon shows up, and you have to save like the character from the demon.
But it's
And
not like obscene, it's just absurd.
near the end, it almost got close to being obscene.
Okay.
Maybe a couple cuss words. But yeah, he actually has a kid-friendly show too, which after what I saw, I'd be amazed by. And like, it ends with him, he strips, and he has an owl head on, and there's like an elephant head that when you squeeze on the nose, it squeaks. And
Like you're doing that in the area of nether region.
yeah,
like he's
genitals.
doing that with
Yes.
the elephant head.
Yes. So
Okay.
no genitals, but
a
it was
little bit obscene.
it was crazy. Like it was so bonkers, and it kind of reinforced the idea that infringement's supposed to be about subverting audience expectations.
I love performance art,
and
that,
that-
it has a place
But
in infringement.
like he played theater places, and the theater places were great, and the people liked him. But when he did Milky's and they weren't expecting him, people
That
went
was where it was
fucking
best.
nuts.
Right.
And I think that's something we need to get more towards, is trying to do
Sure.
weird shit like that and bring some of that stuff forward.
Absolutely.
And like he inspired me because I'm like, if we don't have any, because he's from New Orleans, this is actually a touring artist.
Love it.
We gave him like 8 performances by the end of the festival. It was great. But like, if I can't find Poos the Puppets locally or people who want to do that weird stuff, I'm going to just start bringing them in from out of town and hoping that they inspire the next ones.
That's true.
And that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. He was amazing. And then Sasha McCoy and the Spoons, they are, oh man. Brandon, do you have any good descriptors for Sasha? You saw Sasha, right?
Sasha?
Yeah, did you see Sasha?
When was Sasha?
Songwriters Night at Nietzsche's, and no, you weren't at those shows.
I wasn't at those shows. No, I was at
I
Poos
saw
at
Brandon's
Milky's,
band.
though.
Brandon's
Poos at
band
Milky's.
kicked butt.
Yes, I did not. I only saw Brandon's band for a little bit, but his band Flash Band Pa was there, and they were excellent.
Flash Band Pow was excellent and
Yeah.
well received and playing like super late at night at Nietzsche's, and yes, very captivating. I was
So
impressed.
yeah, Sasha McCoy and the Spoons has like a late '90s, early aughts like alt rock sound. Like they're kind of funky.
Okay.
Really well written songs, really nice backing vocals. They are one Fredonia student, a couple locals, and a kid who goes to Binghamton. So they're not going to be playing around here a lot, but we're trying to get them for the Festivus fundraiser, and hopefully we'll have some music for them soon. And I'm asking them to be on our live episode, which we'll talk about later.
What was the band that was with me at Scoop
Is this
Shop?
live?
that was, well, we're here live. The spirit of live.
Yeah.
The band that was with me at Scoop Shop, it was very Band of Horses meets bassoon player.
That was Bugfoots.
Bugfoots. Now that was pleasant.
I like a band with bassoon. There
I
aren't enough
sure
bands
did.
with bassoons.
I like eclectic, like,
Concur.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're into ska, so any air instrument section.
Don't tell everybody I'm into ska.
Frolicking in bassoons.
You shouldn't be ashamed of your scoffulness.
I had to, Nick. I'm sorry.
When I was in college, I started a folk band with a bassoon, and it went between leads and bass lines, and it was really fucking cool. And then the bassoon player quit and kind of ruined
And they're
everything.
hard to come by because it kind of ruins that for you.
So, but yeah, what you said about the festival is right. It was the smoothest run festival we've had in the last 5 years. The performers were wonderful. Through one of our interns, Kendall, we have a hour and 5-minute documentary about
That's
the
pretty
festival
cool. I
that
wanna
we're
see
gonna
that.
we're gonna have a debut for that at like the hostel or the Honey
Absolutely.
Room. We're gonna find a place like that, make it a fundraiser, and no, I think the venues were happy, the artists were happy, the organizers and the fans were all happy. So I think that's
We'll do it again.
hell yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to do it another year.
All right.
All right, let's talk about Brandon. What?
I'll give a quick shout out. The artists I worked with last year were on point. This year we're on point. Like last year was a little bit of a mess for everybody. Every artist I worked at with both of my stages was there on time, stayed to support each other, got really into it, had no problems. Their gear that didn't work last year, they got fixed. So I want to say to all the musicians who joined us this year, hey, thanks a lot. Everyone did great. We really killed it. Way to step up, everybody. So yeah, from my point of view, running shows, it was fantastic.
No,
yeah.
and you're absolutely right. Like when I came to work the lawn disco, all the artists were hanging out for each other, and it was a really good scene. I mean,
That
it
makes a
always
difference.
is, but it was an even better scene. All right, let's talk about music as art. You were there. I was not.
went to there.
Yes.
It was great. I liked that I could volunteer and not do some shitty job where I was stuck sitting at a table the whole time or like in one zone the whole time. That's the worst.
What was your job?
I've told them for the last couple of years, I am very good at talking to strangers and asking them for money when it's to contribute to a cause that I particularly enjoy and appreciate. I have no problem. And I was like, here's my bucket. It's my official donation bucket, and I'm here as a volunteer. And do you have any jingling change or dollars that you'd like to give to Music is Art for this awesome free festival? Now, people were a little reluctant because parking cost them $20 this year if they didn't park over on the grass like I did and
Over
many
yonder.
other people on the park at the Riverside
And
Park
pay
there.
the ferryman to get to the other side.
Oh, or walk across the bridge with
a
the
fine
bands who
ferry,
were
I'd tell you.
also really, really hoofing it across the bridge to get to their sets on time. There were a couple things that I think could definitely help that festival by way of not only having digital donation, little bit of a QR code snap kind of thing to give a couple bucks if you're having a great time. Could have made them thousands of dollars that day.
I absolutely agree.
You know, the people who did donate were generous. Honestly, Robbie's the most generous.
Yeah, he is.
That entire thing for the last 20 years happening, getting bigger and more inclusive. Like I said earlier, I cry when the little kids get up and perform on the kids stage because they're so pouring out their souls. It is such a big stage for them. It's not like mom and dad are there at their recital. It's, hundreds of people there. And I like that you can have...
Sorry, and the fact that he also takes the time and makes the effort to hang out with everybody.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
So
yeah.
Just
personable.
makes his appearance somewhere just so he's known to to be seen with everybody. And
Absolutely. And it's his whole family there. It's, a very big celebration of Buffalo and our artists. The whole swath of performance. I like how they spread it. They spread everything out a little bit better this year in the sense of the nosebleed is going to always be an issue with that many performances on top of each
Actually,
other.
It wasn't too bad going from.
It wasn't that
around
bad.
around the corner, you couldn't notice it too much.
No,
It wasn't
and
too bad.
comparatively, that has been a thing that people complained about. One of the big complaints from the crowd, and this is another thing I get to go around and talk to everybody, besides the old men complaining about their wives and vice versa. I had a lot of complaints about just the map. They would have loved to have seen a better map for the festival posted in a spot large,
format,
where it's
format.
like, hey, you are here.
you're a graphic
Here's
designer.
a star. Because you want to see so many different, if you're me, it's competitive where it's like, oh my gosh, but my friend's sister's playing over here, and my college friend's playing over here, and meanwhile Dan Mulcanen, who was on the podcast, is playing over here. And it's, unless you know where those here's are, a lot of people walking around could do so aimlessly because they knew hands down they would stumble upon something great.
Mike went and staked it out the night before.
I did a
smart.
recon mission.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times, so I kind of had an idea where I was going.
Well, did they tell you your stage was by the wrestlers?
No, they didn't. I just got a message just telling us that was cool, by the way. That was really, really
The
cool.
wrestling was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a shock. But when you get your acceptance email, they just tell you what stage you're performing
Sure.
on. And then, we get email attachment of the map. So I just took it upon. Last time I was at Music is Art was a while back, and I'm not really a big Riverworks traveler all the time. I mean, it's great down there, but so I just wanted to get a better idea of how easy it was for everybody to get to the stage as quick as they could, because some of us lug stuff, but those singers and drummers with this backline crap, they get off easy. Drummers one that can I mention something about the backline though? I mean, every musician kind of gets really scared when they hear backline.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
I'm just like, yeah.
Here's
Yeah, bass player's easy, so I would direct.
telling Frank, here's me expecting like a solid state Laney, and we get Marshall JCM 900s with full
Such a
scale.
relief to
So that
see.
was totally
It
cool. Very, very cool.
So turned the distortion pedal I bought.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like? So you guys would say you had a good experience at the festival?
Are we transitioning to that? Is that
Yes.
What we're doing?
We're ready to talk.
That was a smooth transition.
Thank you. That's what I do. So did you guys have a good time there?
Yeah,
no. It was
horrible.
terrible. Yeah.
Great.
Nick's lying.
So
great.
now, Cassidy and I were arguing about this a few days prior. One of the things that I think about the festival is that with so many bands happening, that like you guys play, but then you're done and off the stage, and the next band's on so fast, and the crowd's moving to the next stage they want to go to. Do you find it's harder there to kind of like work fans and like kind of get to talk to meet people afterwards than it would be at other, or even just leave an impression?
Well, it's just like you said. If you leave an impression as they walk by, they stop and they stay, which is kind of like what it was like when we played. We were very early in the afternoon.
Sure.
People still weren't there, but we did notice that as people were walking by, they had to stop and take a look. What are these guys in these cheetah shirts doing? Yeah.
The matching shirts helped a lot for the whole,
It's a get me first in the Gimme Gimme shtick.
Exactly.
They have kind of like a wardrobe. You should. I mean, since we've all been together, so I've probably increased my wardrobe. I just had a second part of my closet just for like band clothes, and stuff like that, because they always change their clothes. They have different outfits.
7 different outfits, I think, or 8.
Yeah, we're up to
We're
that
on
about now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys had to decide as a collective what you would all agree to wear, or were you all
Whatever
just
Mike tells us.
pretty copacetic about it?
Yeah, I'm the art
I was
director
against
slash
leopard.
wardrobe manager.
Oh, we had a
Initially.
veto of the leopard.
No, I was not a big fan of the leopard and a few of it, but
you
I
look
grew to
sexy.
love it.
You really pull it off.
I grew to love it.
You look like an Italian.
Yeah, I'm not even Italian.
I know, but it made you look Italian. You shaved. You weren't shaved at the show.
How you doing? I don't have that. I don't have it.
So who did you get? Did you guys get a chance to see any of the other bands?
Yeah.
We did.
Who'd you see? Who'd you like?
Yes. I got to see the Urban Achievers later on in the evening. They were really, really good. They were really, really good. I thought Coffin Hook was always really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Ed's an old friend of mine. Ever since the Death Rattle and old bands he was in days, it's just there's been so many, which emphasizes a struggle.
Emily Rodriguez too. She
Oh,
played
man.
a show
She's
with us.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I booked her at a show at Milky's, not knowing
great.
what to expect, and she was fantastic. Like people thought that she was. They're like, oh, is that who's playing? And they named these singer-songwriters that were twice her age.
Yep.
And like even she got to Milky's, and I'm like, so you're not 21, you're at least 18, right? And she just gives me a look, and I'm like, how old are you? And she goes, I'm 16. I'm like, oh god, like don't tell the old man. But no, she's super talented. I think she's 18 or 19 now. But
She opened for us once when we played at the Cove.
Yeah.
We had her do a set to get things going.
yeah, her voice is just fantastic. It's really just clean, and it's one of those things where when you're doing sound, like you just said it once and like she's good. You don't have to touch
Yeah.
it. Like she knows how to work a mic. She knows she's good with her voice. That's great.
Set it and forget it.
So as a band, I know that you just added a new singer, but how long has your project as Gimme Gimme been
Well,
getting?
me and Nick are kind of like, we'll call it the OGs of this whole operation.
I kept a little notepad and I keep checking
A
these
little diary,
these
fan diary.
These little date markers. So I want to say August 2020 was when
When he started talking it
first
around.
talking to Mike
Yeah, what had happened? I'll start.
through mutual
Sorry, Nick.
Well, I don't want to get
Craigslist
too far
through-
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in the next segment.
What do we got to do?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to make a couple small complaints and criticisms of music as art.
He's always got to complain.
Yep.
That's what I do. I'm not going to sit here and complain about $20 parking and whether the bands get paid or not. Whatever. Bands got one parking spot for free. That's fantastic, but how can you have an event where you're not paying your artists and you're charging them to park? That really bothers me because like a lot of people can park far away and take like the shuttle in or something, but we're dealing with people who have equipment, you know. And for me, like I went in one year and I paid for parking and I asked where their handicap spots were and they just told me there weren't any and I was just fucked. So I had to carry like a TV across like 3 parking lots to get it to where I wanted to, even though. So that bothers me. So, and again, you know, whatever. I'm just sitting here complaining. I'm just one guy. So it's not a big deal. I mean, do you guys want to chime in on that at all?
I think with accessibility for special needs or anybody who may need, need assistance getting in and out, that's the key thing. And, you know, the thing about paying musicians, you're in the deficit there. But hey, I took the ferry and it was $5, so I was okay with that. But and I didn't have a lot. I had my gig bag, so I was good.
Nice.
But
okay, I was just curious.
But I agree with you. You know, like if you're gonna have a music is art festival, why would you charge $20 for parking?
Well, that was just on the one side, which was over on the opposite side of the river, which was more towards the tracks, and which is privately owned property.
I feel like this is a
Which makes
high
it
school debate.
Yeah.
Pros, cons.
More swear words, though.
No, well,
Hopefully.
I mean, it didn't bother me, but I do agree that there should,
Fuck yeah.
could have been a better accommodation. You know, I did get a notification that there was, one spot available in a band parking lot. I didn't even know where that band parking lot was, and
Better maps.
you are here. Parking lot
Exactly.
is here. So, but I mean, overall, I wasn't going to judge my experience on where I had to park. I mean, it was just a lot of fun, just to have people that see us that would not, which probably will now.
I love that your set drew people in. We'll talk more about it
Oh,
later.
absolutely.
But it definitely drew people in from an observer standpoint.
So shirts.
It's the shirts.
Shirts. I was wrong.
I actually have some interesting Me First and the Gimme Gimme storyline that actually goes along with that. So that's cool. And then I'm just going to talk about this briefly. I know a couple of the burlesque acts dropped off the festival because they were uncomfortable with one of the stage managers.
Right.
And I don't know a whole lot of anything, but I know that there are certain members of certain groups who like to talk about people and spread rumors in Buffalo. And I'm not saying Music is Art is specifically saying anything or doing anything, but members of their group do. And when that happens, when you decide that you want to be the purity police, you just have to make sure that your house is clean, because when it isn't, there's people in that group who were very loudly spreading things that aren't true about me. And when you have other things going on, it wasn't okay when it was me, but when it's in their group, they're not going to say anything. That's a problem I have.
I think especially with burlesque performers and men and women performers, but when you're putting yourself out there in some type of a scantily, you expect that because it's performance and it's art and you are there as an artist, that there isn't going to be someone who takes that as license to get handsy or even to be like overtly flirty with someone in that type of a performance and setting seems like just not okay, right? Like they're not necessarily asking to have their dupes pinched.
So I'm just
Sure.
saying like it's easy to talk about what other people are doing in different organizations, or there were people were trying to cancel Greg Burt back a few years
I
back.
don't believe in canceling at all,
and I
but I
don't-
don't
and
believe in burlesque performers being uncomfortable because of that.
And all I'm saying
scenario.
is that you have arrows flung from a lot of groups, but when you belong to a big group, you have to be ready to face that issue in your group as well, and not just with
And I
everyone
miss
outside
the
of that.
burlesque performers being there. I honestly like that there's space for that. I think that it's a great stage for it, and it sucks that they were made to feel uncomfortable,
I
and it
completely
sucks
agree.
that other behavior was made to feel welcome.
Exactly.
Right?
So let's leave it at that. I don't
All
want to stand on my soapbox too much. Though oddly enough, we're
You
going to play.
get so tall then.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said on this podcast before.
We were here for it. Oh.
I can see you with my ears.
Ow, like I can feel my skin's getting red.
What are we
going to
listen to, Ryan?
We're going to, oddly enough, this is kind of apropos. It's a song called Mr. Manly by Spud. Spud is so wonderful. Demaya and Henry on bass and Seth Zielinski on drums, and I was so used to Demaya just doing their solo sets with a guitar, with a piano, and those were fantastic. But this added like punk rock energy
filled out in a whole different scene.
It's like it's the kind of set where you see them play and you're like I want to do that. Like I want to be in that band. How can I do that? Like who do I meet to be in that? So this is their first single. It was released sometime around September 3rd. So we're going to listen to Mr. Manly, and then we'll be right back with 3/5 of Gimme Gimme. Right here on The Struggle is Real.
554 millimeters, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Here on The Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
Hello, pretty lady, I'm Mr. Manly Man. You're a catch, you're a peach, you're the woman of my dreams. Full of empty promises and reckless abandon. I've seen you here before with a friend or two. Quite frankly, you're a bore, but for tonight you'll do. My lady's called it quits, so I'll resort to this. How about a little kiss below the waistband miss? Now that I've made you blush, I'll just say that I'm drunk. I know I made you gush, cause I'm a big old hunk. You ain't a pretty bird, so my chances are good. I'll lie and say I think about you way more than I should. Hello, pretty lady, I'm Mr. Manly Man. You're a catch, you're a peach, you're the woman of my dreams. Full of empty promises and reckless abandon. You know I fucking love you. Come on now, say it back. Tell all your friends about me. Now everything's on track. Can't stand these lonely nights. Need you to fill the time between now and when I go back to that darling of mine. Hello, pretty lady, I'm Mr. Manly Man. You're a catch, you're a peach, you're the woman of my dreams. Full of empty promises and reckless abandon. I'm lonely and smoked up, my bed's getting cold, so are we gonna fuck or what? I'm lonely and smoked up, my bed's getting cold, so are we gonna fuck or what? I'm lonely and smoked up, my bed's getting cold, so are we gonna fuck or what? I'm lonely and smoked up, my bed's getting cold, so are we?
And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, and we are joined by Frank, Mike, and Nick.
Hello.
From Gimme
Hello.
Gimme. So,
That was cute.
Wait,
yeah, that was actually
do
that
over
was
again?
adorable, guys. You must have practiced that.
Not really. I was like totally impulse, but that was cool.
And out of key.
A little bit, but it was the thought that counts.
So we talked a little bit about kind of the formation of the band. So what was it? What makes you do a Me First and the Gimme Gimmes tribute act instead of just doing your own group of songs like they did?
You want me to start? I'll start because I was the one who contacted you.
Yeah, I contacted you first.
No. I contacted Ben. Okay, this is where it started. Shut up, Nick.
Yep. So I think
I deal with this all the time.
That's
why I'm so quiet.
Ben contacted me because of my ad.
All right, you go ahead.
Craigslist creepers. That's just
Craigslist.
how it basically started. But I got the thought because I was just, for some reason, just recently, getting my taste back into punk rock again. I'm a very big fan of the, the skater punk rock you know,
The
Warped Tour-
NoFX's,
Warped Tour,
Goldfingers of the
NoFX,
world.
Yes, exactly. And so I basically on my station at work, I had put Bad Religion Radio, and I was, you know, getting a lot of my, you know, old memories back, and I kept hearing a lot of Me First in the Gimme Gimme songs.
So did you put a post out on Craigslist then?
I did.
Okay.
I did. So what had happened was, I'm like, you know what? Nobody in this area does this.
There's nothing wrong with it, Cassidy. I saw your look.
Well, it's like online dating for bands. It's very sweet. It's romantic.
You do get your creepers, trust me.
Oh,
hit or
man.
miss.
Who was the one guy I auditioned? No, we won't talk about
The whole
that.
reason this podcast started was because I wanted to talk about all the horrible Craigslist auditions I had when I was
Oh
a
my
Lady or the
God!
Tiger.
Everybody knows how to play guitar.
But chances are
everybody knows
listen-
how to sing in a karaoke bar.
Everybody listening to this podcast probably has met each other on Craigslist at some
Whoa.
point. Right? Am I right?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, musician-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So that prompted me.
so you did a post.
It prompted me to make the ad. I'm like, you know what? I'll bet you I can find a bunch of guys.
Our
that
old
wanna
bass
do
player,
this.
Bitcoin Ben, reached out to you, or
Yes.
you reached out to, and then I saw Ben's post. He had something about doing original music and something about Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. So I
That's
reached
why
out to him.
he responded to me, because we both had the same interest.
And that was our overlap.
Yes.
So that you had that idea of like around 2020-ish.
Yes.
I've been marinating that idea for decades.
But did you do anything about it, Nick?
No.
Did you do anything about it?
Okay, well, in college, Cassidy and I did a cover of.
It was your producer's forum class,
Yeah, it was
wasn't
my
it?
producer's
Yeah.
forum class.
Right.
We did a
So it was
similar
a sweet
style.
studio.
We took Casey and the Sunshine Band, which is what kind of style music is that?
That would be
Disco.
disco.
Almost disco
based.
I would call it disco.
We made it into ska reggae, and that kind of got the seed planted for me back in 20 years ago. So I beat you to that.
No, the
I-
plan-
Do we
I
have a
win.
recording of this that we can play on like the next episode? Because
I
I'm
think so.
super curious about this.
I brought it.
I heard.
So that
how-
happened. That happened in 2020. And
Yeah, we
then
got together, we jammed, and then all of a
the
sudden
pandemic happened.
Pandemic happens, and it goes on hiatus for 2 years.
So we exchanged tracks and tried to record, and that didn't go anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah,
Just to
that's
keep
tough.
ourselves occupied
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
We
And,
had all the band members, but then it just turned out to be me, Mike, and Ben. And then we found drummer Brian. Gimme Brian. He's one of the original OGs.
Coach.
Coach. And I was singing. And the guys, we had this little practice space that was all 12 by 12 on top of each other.
Of course.
I couldn't hear myself until we got our lead guitar player. So now we're a 5-piece. 5 guitar, bass, drum. I was singing. And
Way to do the math, Nick.
Yeah. And we were practicing at Weldy's house and did acoustic session. They could hear me sing for the first time, and they said, "We need to find a new singer."
Well, it wasn't that harsh.
No. They tiptoed around it. They didn't tell me right away. I actually found out through Ben, who's more like, the guys don't like your singing. And but they were right. They're fair enough. And Ben was moving.
Everything fell into place because actually, I can't think of a better punk rock bass player that I would have on stage with me than little Nicky, the devil, little Nicky over here.
And playing bass and singing is like, I don't know. I've played guitar and sang a million times. I have so much trouble playing bass and singing.
But straight up, like from the get-go, it's like I play bass, guitar, and sing, and from good to least good.
Yeah,
And,
everything just fell into place where people were where they needed to be and where they excelled the
which
best at. Yeah.
talking about struggling artists, it's kind of like honesty is like the biggest struggle for any people relationship, let alone a bunch of musicians who have different ideas. So trying to overcome that, we've had a lot of open conversations about stuff. So
Oh, sure.
So
It's the
we
only way to be.
2020, fast forward to like a year later, we actually had our first show.
Yep.
Where was
Played
it?
It was at the Tudor Lounge with the Urban
nice.
Achievers. They have a Warped Tour reunion anniversary party every year, and Me First and the Gimme Gimmes used to play on Warped Tour. So they figured it'd be cool to have us, with the stuff that they're Bad Religion, The Clash. They are like the ultimate punk rock cover band.
Their drummer Josh of Urban Achievers actually played with Me First and the Gimme Gimmes when he was on Warped Tour.
Oh, did he?
Josh was on tour, and
Which Josh? Is it Heatley?
Yeah.
Fun story. And when I was in 8th grade, I bought his drum set. My first drum set I ever bought. I bought off of Josh Heatley after I saw his band Counterclockwise play at the Hamburg High School 24-hour relay in like 97.
Wow.
So
That's why I had to ask when you said that. That's amazing.
So yeah, we've had a couple additions, people flip, changes, but mostly I guess
the right person always seemed to come in where Frank the Tank comes in over here with his Eddie Van Halen shirt on.
Well, I definitely don't come from a punk rock background at all. I just met the guys and we just kind of clicked.
So
He embraced it, though.
Your personal other band experiences and projects were nothing.
Not even close.
Nothing
No,
in this realm.
Like I said, it was harder for me to learn these songs than if I had to learn Van Halen because I was so.
Because you already
these
played
are
Van Halen?
completely well because I listened to it so much. None of these songs that I've played with these guys I had never heard.
Oh, you heard them when your parents were house cleaning on Sundays. We just make them sound cool.
We made them 25%
the covers of those songs, I should say. So it was a whole new thing, but it was super fun. It was kind of cool. It was, learning. I mean, they're 2-minute songs, but it's just as hard.
There's a lot going on in those
there's
2 minutes.
there's
Absolutely.
And it happens quickly.
So I learned a lot. I mean, the guy, the guitar player previous to me, Greg Weldy, just said, "Well, go and just don't shred. Just play what the song calls for." And I did.
By nature, Frank is a shredder, by the way.
So
He is wearing a Van Halen shirt. I figured that out the second he walked in the door. I'm
I've
like,
heard of him,
I'm like, he's a guitar player. He's probably the lead guitar player.
Yes, he is.
Now, kind of what you're just talking about with him in the songs, like, kind of brings me to like the accessibility that you guys have, and I think it's a huge help. Like, I used to listen to Me First and the Gimme Gimmes with my mom when she would take me back and forth to college
did I.
from
I used to
Albany.
listen to them with your mom as
because
well.
like that's something that
Just kidding.
Boom, boom.
God damn it, Nick. God damn it.
HR.
Are you HR?
Ryan started the episode already saying that he's had a rough spell at the end of the summer, and we're just like, crush him. That's
Now
not
you know why I
fair.
call him Little Nicky the Devil.
Yeah.
My mom said it was a nice ride. So.
Oh, that's even worse.
Anyways, you
but
got
no,
the last laugh.
Happy anniversary, Nick.
No.
Oh, fantastic! I love it when things go
I don't know
off
where
the
this
tracks.
went.
Okay. But no, yeah, I mean, like you guys, you're covering songs in a way. I mean,
We're a tribute
A
to the world's
tribute.
greatest cover band that ever lived. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. We're not covering.
fair enough. You're tributing.
This is just
Legally,
We are paying tribute to the people who did take the time to cover
we're
these
legally
Fair enough.
obligated to say that.
But you guys are performing
And it's
songs that
rightfully so.
people of all ages are gonna know, like
Exactly.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow, or like My Boyfriend's Back, are a couple that I
Yep.
remember from back in the day. So I think that's probably a huge help for you guys. Like, are you guys playing out a lot now, and what kind of reception are you getting? I feel
we
like
get out a couple times a month. We get a
Once or twice.
It took it out for any band that comes out of the gate. It takes a little bit for people to absorb what you're trying to put out. You know what
Sure.
I mean? And once people realize what we started doing, like the bowling alley gig.
Yeah.
You know, you have a bunch of people that were older than us.
That was my first
all right?
show.
And these were probably their jams back in the
They
day.
didn't
You know what I'm
how-
saying? But they were
didn't
up
know how
there.
it was going to be received.
Yeah, we didn't know how the people were going to.
How was it received?
Very well. I mean, these
Yeah.
elderly people did not break any hips in the
elderly
process of
people.
dancing.
Well, it seems like a good.
Wait, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing.
I
'cause they were
would have
rocking.
wanted some hips broken. That's how you know they're into it.
No, but they were rocking and they didn't break any hips, so it was good. But we got much
That we know of.
that we know of. Yeah. We got a very good reception starting from there, and then just this friend sees this band and they tell their friend, and then all of their friends come together and this and that and so on and so forth. So we're just trying to grab people's attention by doing something different. That's really not in the local cover band scene around here.
And oh, sorry to
If
interrupt.
they don't like it, it's 2 minutes long, and then
Next song.
I
I was gonna
Next
say,
song.
you don't like the
Exactly.
song, you got 2 minutes to deal with it until the next one comes.
But no,
It's
but
amazing that the response though. Like people would say, "Oh, but you guys were great." And I'm looking behind me, going, "Who are you talking to?" But it's fun. I mean, even like when I saw you guys and met you guys
Before you joined, you came
before
to
I
see
joined,
us.
and it was just
Did some reconnaissance of his own.
It was just fun.
Yeah, no, I
Pure and simple.
I think like you can probably get into a whole lot of places that wouldn't normally have a band like that playing when you're playing those songs. So that's got to be pretty
And then
awesome.
they hear how we play it, and they're like, "Okay, that was cool," because everybody was having fun.
yeah.
Exactly.
I've never heard Sweet Caroline like that. I've heard it this way for the longest time, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, and then we also have this market in Western New York where the Nerds Gone Wild play everywhere.
Yes.
And then they got their Yacht Fathers thing, which is also Nerds Gone Wild reinvented as
In
you know
different
a
outfits,
different
yes, yeah.
exactly. And I just feel like you can have the same bands and Hit and Run and all these things that play the Lawn Fate circuit, or we can introduce a little bit of energy. And I think that you guys could definitely.
That's what the big thing is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very energetic.
Back to back we played a Halloween show with them last year. And,
Sure.
and
With the
Nerds have
Nerds,
helped
yeah.
us out as well. We played. They got us a couple gigs. Eddie's great. They're really.
Oh, I think they're a great show. I think they're a
So-
great band. But it's nice to have something different to
So-
also.
Yes, not just the party
Yes.
bands.
Eventually, we might run out of tunes, and we need more time to fill. So we're like, hey, we still have to
50
get to
tunes
this,
isn't
but
enough?
this undercover.
Oh, 2 minutes. The
gonna have
place
our-
expects you to play 3 hours, and
We're
the
gonna have
songs are
our
2 minutes
opening
long.
act
That's
for
a
our
lot of
act.
songs. That's a real lot of songs. I mean, it was great at Music is Art because we only played for 29 minutes, I think the video was.
That's the perfect amount of
So-
time for a punk band.
And we went
Not
song
30.
to song, rolled through. Rob, our singer, did a little bit of his cardio up there. I love the kick. Was on the lookout for your glasses whenever they fell down. I saw him tip your glasses
I
back up.
have
so.
to work pretty hard to stay away from Nick and Rob. I'll be squashed immediately.
Yeah, I know they're pretty rambunctious.
So I want to talk about your outfits. So
Sure.
you wear matching outfits just like the band does.
Yes.
You went leopard print for Music is Art. So Mike, do you pick the outfits?
What I do is I was just looking online and I'll see videos from past performances and I'll just like take pictures of their wardrobe. Oh, this would be cool. This would be cool. Like we have my next one would be the black shirts, black pants with the gold tie. That one's very, very distinguished. They
Distinguished.
did gold.
I love gold.
We did gold shirts. We did.
Yeah, we did the metallic gold shirts with the black ties. We had the magenta shirts with the black ties. For Christmas, when we played at the Hard Rock Cafe around Christmas time last year for their Christmas deal, we did, it was Gangster Santa shirts.
Yeah, with tats.
So are you just like going on Kohl's and just ordering 5 of the same thing?
Actually,
No.
I
Like, is
some
it centralized like
Random
that?
Chinese websites, they're a lot cheaper.
Okay,
And if it don't fit, it don't matter.
you're taking the Wish.com route is what I'm hearing.
exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so in other
Whatever-
words, I did the research to
Facebook
see how
ad
they
pops
dress so
up.
we could portray them like they do. You know what I mean?
I had an official ceremony. The old guitar player actually handed over all the wardrobe to me.
Oh.
And
Yes,
specifically,
because you guys, his
know,
clothes fit
yeah, he's a
you.
little-
That's why. Yeah.
That's one of the, it was the main reason
you
they
could be into
picked
the band
you.
because you fit. You fit.
Yeah, the clothes fit. You're in.
Unfortunately, Rob didn't fit into Jody's clothes because Jody's about your height. I don't want to be rude, mean, but he's
He's smaller than Rob. He's smaller than
Rob
Rob.
is like 10 foot tall.
Yes,
There you
10
go.
foot tall.
And
Yes,
Jody's 5 foot tall. So
that's a 5 foot difference.
it's 5 foot. You're good at math.
I try.
You do a
half
lot
the
of numbers.
So, since I'm not going to do any segues right now, earlier you guys were talking about a story about someone shitting their pants.
Okay, yeah, the shitstorm.
You can't tell me about this beforehand and then
was
not.
just a,
So,
Frank can tell the story because his friend was the one who was directly experienced. We'll just leave
So it was
the
just-
location out, though.
Yeah, we'll leave out the location. But either case, so just very randomly, a friend of mine came out to see me and had been out to see us before and really liked the band. So he comes out to this place and he's walking into the bathroom. It's a smaller place, so the bathroom is like 8 by 10.
yeah.
And this guy just walks out and looks at him square in the eye, and I was kind of like off to the side, and he just goes, "I'm so sorry, man. I tried."
That could go so many different ways.
So
Coming
he
out
walks
of a
in,
bathroom.
and there's quite literally a shit show with
shit.
soiled underwear thrown off to the side of the toilet. He didn't quite make it. You could see that, and it was just a splattering mess. It was just terrible. And this poor guy, whatever.
He tried.
He
Why?
tried.
Tried his best.
That's the story you
Obviously,
chose
obviously
to
didn't
tell
try.
over the Lemmy story.
Oh,
A
well,
Lemmy story.
we go-
Well, I do have a Lemmy story.
tell the
too.
Lemmy story.
Well, years ago, I lived in California, in Hollywood, and we're at the Rainbow one day, and like Lemmy was always there, but yeah, he just was like next to me one day or something like that. You didn't want to
Yeah,
bother
just
him.
hanging out
But
at
I
the
just
bar,
said,
and Lemmy from
quite
Motorhead's
simply,
chilling
it's like
out.
1996,
2
I
bases
think.
out of here in here. Yeah.
And I just said,
I want to hear a Lemmy story.
How's things going with Motorhead? Well, apparently their American distribution got dropped, or something bad happened to the band. He goes, well, blah, 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 blah. Somebody didn't buy the album. You didn't buy it. And he was really, and I just said, well, I used to love you guys when I was fucking 15 years old, which I do still love them. Next thing you know, I'm the only guy. I'm there with like 6 buddies. I'm the only one with a car, but I'm the one on the curb. I'm literally
No, that's
like,
a cool story.
we didn't get into a fight per se exactly, but I was.
Tell off Lemmy, cross
Very-
it off the bucket list.
Yeah.
I wish I had that story.
So anyway, next thing you know, I'm on the curb of the Rainbow, waiting for my friends to come out, which they didn't. So I left them there. But that's my Lemmy story.
I want to
pretty
just
cool.
go to Hollywood and hope I bump into Lars Ulrich at a bar so I can tell him off now. Yeah.
You and a bunch of other people probably lined up too.
Oh, yeah. You know, they actually, this is getting way off topic. A bunch of people tricked the singer from Smash Mouth into eating 24 eggs to raise money for cancer. What if we can do something like that for people slapping Lars Ulrich in the face to raise money for kids with cancer?
There aren't enough chickens to lay eggs in this world.
No, someone made up a fake tweet about how the singer from Smash Mouth wouldn't eat 24 eggs for kids, and it was completely fake. And then he like woke up the next day, and it had all this traction and like 700 shares, and they actually got the singer from Smash Mouth to do it.
Very cool.
The internet's a
look that
powerful,
up.
Yeah.
powerful tool.
If you check out our old episode with Chelsea from Stress Dolls, we talk about it on there. Yes.
I was going to say
Bringing it
that
back.
seems vaguely familiar. Like, have we already touched on this topic?
Oh yeah, no, that was
Great,
That was
great.
when our guest fucking lost it laughing. That moment stuck in my head. That was one of my favorites. So we got a few more minutes. Tell us more horror stories, or funny stories, or Lemmy stories.
I have a Van Halen story.
Frank's the superstar here. So if you're talking about celebrity status interaction, he's the guy.
Well, I used to.
Besides my
music
Billy
store called-
Sheehan incident, but you know.
He's got a shoe.
I think an interesting story is when you used to work at
Daddy's Junkie
Daddy's
Music.
Junkie. That's
Yes.
Oh my
Daddy's
God,
Junkie
I forgot
Music
all
back-
about that.
Yes, isn't that a
That was
blast from
cool.
the past?
Smash Mouth actually came in one day to buy something. And I wasn't very familiar with their music at the time, but it was late '90s or whatever.
Are you very familiar now?
No.
Good.
No.
Wait, so
So
tell us again. Where did you used to work?
it was a music store called Daddy's Junkie Music. It was
Okay.
before Guitar Center came in.
Oh yeah, it had these like
So it was like a big,
weird like
big box thing.
I feel like it was like a rainbow colored like the paper was like all different colors or something in the catalogs.
catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty very colorful. Yeah, but like those catalogs, by the time they arrived at your doorstep, they were outdated because it was
All used
But it was
stuff.
like the internet was around, but it wasn't people weren't buying stuff online.
If Reverb.com had a store, that's what Daddy's Junkie
I
Music.
bought-
I mean, some of it was just.
I bought 2 turntables there.
And a microphone.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
But
It is where it's at.
Nice.
couldn't resist. Nope. And I didn't have any records. It came with a little demo on how to scratch records, a little CD or DVD that you could play. So all I had was Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. My dad's record. He's like,
No,
return
Stairway.
those right now.
No,
Right
Stairway.
back. So I probably brought it back to you.
Could be. I mean, you never know. I mean, the turntables I didn't usually touch too much. So I was the guitar guy, so I was pretty busy with guitars. So,
Fair enough.
but through working at Daddy's, I got to go to the NAMM show.
That's a great
and I got
time.
to sort of meet Eddie Van Halen. We were sitting around in a semicircle, and I'm like dressed up, and Eddie Van Halen kind of was advertising his PV stuff, and he was talking to the guys that own the company. So I'm just kind of in the background, being quiet. And the weirdest thing is, George Clinton walks by in the background, and everybody, including Eddie Van Halen, stops.
Oh, hell yeah.
And just watches George Clinton be George Clinton walking by like it was just unreal. Like mid-sentence Eddie's like,
Like the Wayne and Garth were not worthy moment.
pretty much. Yeah.
I almost had that moment when these cameras turned on. It's like, oh, we're not worthy.
The other time I got to meet Eddie Van Halen was
I like
in
to play
Syracuse,
drums.
and I've always wanted to meet Eddie. I mean, since I was like 12 years old.
Of course.
So I go and I go to the meet and greet, which is as much. It was a gift, but
He loves me.
He's wearing a Van Halen shirt.
so
He matches the walls here very nicely.
Actually,
today.
there's a flag in the men's room of that exact
I know, I
design.
saw that.
Just like
I
lay
need that for
against
my
it and
garage.
disappear like
I need
James
that for
Bond
my
or some
garage,
shit.
for sure.
What does that say about how much we feel about Van Halen?
But so I'm at this meet and greet, and all these years I've wanted to say something, and I just really didn't say anything. So you're kind of lining up for a picture, and he starts to speak, and he says to me, and I'll never forget this, and I live by these words: "Here, you stand next to me. You're taller than me."
Words of wisdom.
He spoke to me.
It's like that movie, like football.
Yes, sir.
What's a football?
Oh, Christmas story.
Christmas.
No, can you please get that Can you please get that that tattooed onto your arm? Stand here.
So that's my Van Halen story. So
Oh, I just had the Billy Sheehan outside of the hotel by the airport. Long story short is I just went to pick up a friend who was working at the hotel, and Billy Sheehan was standing out front. And a couple of us went to go introduce ourselves, and he just thought, we really weren't worth his time and effort. So I got an ignorant thing on there. And then back in the old days when, like I was explaining before the show, Rock and Roll Heaven when Lynch Mob played. They had the George Lynch meet and greet at Guitar Factory when it was a little strip mall store. And I had a friend of mine get me up there when George was going up, and I to play the venue, and I got to meet him there and got to check out his case of guitars. You know, Mr. Scary was there. I didn't want anything to do with it. You know, even though he offered, he said to give it a try. I was like, yeah, right. So it's like, what do I do with this thing after you hand it to me? You know, so it's kind of the vibe I got from George Lynch, by the way. You know,
our hard rock roots are showing.
Yeah, like I have a hat on because my roots are gone.
I'm just a baby of the group.
Yeah, Nick's the youngling.
You met Everclear?
I did.
No, I don't know. What did you mean?
Have you ever met
I thought
Everclear?
you did the. Oh no.
Cassidy's just trying to make you seem more interesting.
Too
No,
many-
it's okay. You don't have to
Nick,
feel
you got to
that bad
pull out
for
a
our
trump
guests.
card here and
Nice,
sound
so-
cool.
No, I'm not gonna.
Well,
I have
Like
an
I did a
embarrassing
cool
story.
thing too.
well, we're out of
Yeah.
time.
Oh, okay.
Segment.
We're out of time for the embarrassing story.
Too late.
Love when that happens.
There'll be more. All right, we're gonna play a track by West Ferry. West Ferry is a really cool kind of pop punk, indie rock, emo group. Locally, at the end of July, they released an album called Out of Reach. This is one of the tracks from it. It is called Add 'Em Up, and we'll be right back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on westernnewyorkmusic.com.
Usually you get what you need. I have enough. One day's not hard to take it till you're out and up and up and up. Hold on, don't pass me sick of everything I know, missing everything we lost. Asked to peel the bandage slow. You ripped it off. Sick of everything, missing everything. Don't have to hold my head down to keep miles from the light. Say every time I'm let down, make it out if you're alive. Usually you get what you need. I have enough. One day's not hard to take it till you add 'em up. Add 'em up. Don't pass me by. Don't pass me by. Don't pass me by.
All right, and we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Add 'Em Up by West Ferry. All right, Gimme Gimme. I want to pluralize it because there's more than one of you.
Sucks to be you.
All right, so we are playing a game called Real Not Real. It is about this year's Buffalo Infringement Festival. I'm going to read you 10 statements, and you have to tell me if they happened or not, if they are real or not real.
I wasn't listening. Can you explain that?
I wasn't there, so
Well,
You
that
gotta
makes it
guess.
easier to play this game. If you were
Yeah.
there, it'd be really hard.
I
'cause you-
wasn't there. I said.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Cassidy, are you ready?
I suppose I'm ready.
Frank, are you ready?
True.
Mike, are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm not going to ask Nick. All right.
I'm gonna try.
The singer of a local rock band forgot to take off from their fast food job, and instead of just calling off, they played an abbreviated set during an extra long smoke break that they didn't tell their boss about.
D.
Real
All of the above.
or not real?
Not real.
I'm gonna say it's real because the struggle is real. That stuff happens.
False.
That is not real.
I
Ding,
win.
ding, ding.
What do I
So
win?
who do we decide who wins then? Because we got one.
Oh,
not
I'm keeping
real.
score for all three of them now.
Okay, good.
I have a fancy computer.
I love that.
Excellent. All right. A solo performer was arrested mid-set when she was mistaken for a suspect that robbed a convenience store a couple blocks away. Real or not real?
Real.
Real.
Well, I gotta go with false.
That is correct. That did not happen. That would be awesome.
I suck at this game.
I picture
like
it
you're
happening
gonna-
at Days Park Tavern for some reason. Just someone getting tackled right off the stage. You want to go next, Cassidy?
Sure. One artist showed up at numerous shows unaware that she needed to bring a cable for her electric guitar, even assuming at one point that we'd have a capo on hand for her. When we did not have a capo, her mother tried putting an entire show on hold while they ran to Guitar Center to get a real one.
That's so crazy. It's got to be true.
Yeah, that's got to be true.
Well, I'm not gonna be contrarian on that. That's definitely true.
It is true.
It happened.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I get it.
I once had
It's like-
someone
it's
ask
like-
me if they could borrow my capo. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm up. And
No.
also, I play bass, so I
Bass
didn't
players
need
use
it.
capos? I was just
yeah, I was
gonna
just
say.
more using it to like hold down my notes because it was windy out.
My capo's right next to my left-handed keyboard.
No, they showed up. It's like, I don't have a cable. And it's like, okay, we have cables. And it's like, do you have a capo? I'm like,
No.
what?
No, we don't.
No, we don't provide that for you. That's not a. Yeah. But I digress. A mime wouldn't leave their final performance of the festival until someone helped them out of an invisible box. However, outside of like one festival volunteer, no one was paying attention, so the guy hung around in the park for an extra 45 minutes.
That's something I would do. That's totally true.
I'm going to go with false.
I'm gonna go with false.
That is absolutely false.
Too bad I got to check.
I really like to picture that, though.
I just couldn't, so I had to say false. I couldn't picture that. Yeah.
A DJ was unable to make his performance because he was too drunk the night previous to pack his gear, and the venue wouldn't reopen until later in the day.
That's got to be true.
That's got to be true.
It's adding up, but for consistency, I'll say no.
That is absolutely true.
Nick's
Called
on
him.
the downward spiral.
Called him at let's see, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, hey, you ready to go? We're waiting for you. And he goes, oh, I was too drunk to carry my equipment last night. I'm like, can you get it now? And he goes, the club doesn't open till 9. His set was at
Right.
2 p.m. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, it is.
Lifestyles of the drunken famous.
DJs, am I right? Nick was one for 20 minutes.
Oh!
All right, one performer decided.
Got that. It wasn't even 20 minutes. As soon as I turned that thing on.
You didn't even get through the first verse. Aw. One performer decided to light a torch on stage at an outdoor performance. He slipped and dropped the torch, which lit a corner of their merch table on fire. A very vigilant intern and a fire extinguisher stopped anything really horrible from happening.
I believe that's true.
I'm going to go with false.
Well, seeing as though you said you have like 70 interns, I'm going to go with true.
That is false, actually. That did not happen. We are very careful with fire at Infringement Festival.
Intuition.
Maybe I just keep thinking about that Great
What?
White incident back.
True.
Oh, that was brutal. That was awful.
He said not
That was
real.
awful.
It's not
Yeah.
too soon, so
It's way past. All right, so far, Frank and Mike are in the lead with 4. Nick, you started off
I
strong
sucked
in the
in the
lead.
beginning.
But you have 3. You're one behind. Oh. All right, so we had a show called Throwing Fireworks in the Basement.
False. Oh. That wasn't the.
Well, you're already wrong.
That wasn't.
So I'm at the show, and someone walked up to me, and he said, did you name the show Throwing Fireworks in the Basement? I said, yeah. And he goes, well, this is your fault. And then he started lighting fireworks in the basement and shooting them at Lazy Ass Destroyer. True or false? Or real or not real?
Well, you sprinkled in a little bit of
I'm going to go with
Buffalo locals in there, so
I got to go with real on that one too.
true.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. It was one of the owners of the house, and it was really hilarious until this one woman is trying to light it, and the music is so loud you cannot hear anything in this basement, and I'm trying to instruct her it shouldn't be that hard to light a bottle rocket. It has a fuse at the bottom. She is lighting the front of it, and I'm like, lady, please don't do that. You light it here. She goes, and it just keeps lighting it. Like definitely kicked back a little bit, like
Oh, no.
right. And
Danger.
it's a bottle rocket. No one got hurt.
I just shoot
It's all
rubber
a
bands
bad
at these
idea.
guys when they're
It
playing.
is all about
Yeah. There's a moment that we forgot earlier.
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank had to come out of his shell, and we're like, "Hey, buddy,
Yeah.
you should like heckle us when you didn't have all the songs."
For some reason,
He sat down on some
tend to
songs.
put rubber bands around
So
my
he
wrist.
chose to shoot rubber bands
just
at us while
started
we
shooting
played.
rubber
Yeah,
I love that.
I actually shot Rob the other day at Music is Art.
Did you?
didn't
Did you?
notice it, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a horn section that would get bored and throw ice cubes at me. Yeah, those horn sections, they're tricky. Nick knows. All right, one artist requested a 30-minute set. They played their set. It was 10 minutes of music, a 10-minute intermission, and then the remaining 10 minutes of music.
I'm gonna go with false.
Was
Who
it
needs-
Gimme
who
Gimme?
needs a 10-minute intermission after
Yeah,
10
I would
minutes?
say-
Unless you're us,
I would
because we
say
can
false.
play
It's
a lot
absurd,
of songs in
but-
10 minutes.
Nick?
False.
I mean, 10, 10, 10.
It's nothing to do with math, bro.
He's the one that's good at math.
But you're in the lead here, so I'm gonna go with also.
The opposite of what I say?
You said false.
I don't know.
What did you say?
He said it was false.
Rewind
They
it.
both
They
said it was
recorded
false.
I'll say it's false.
That happened. That happened. The performer did it on 2 separate nights. The last night they did it, it was at a Nietzsche show, and like all of a sudden, all of the burlesque dancers come down and they're like, "Are we going on now?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "The music stopped." And I go up to the sound guy and I'm like, "Dude, what's going on?" And he goes, "Dude, she just left. She went into the bathroom like 7 minutes ago." And I'm like, "Give her a few more minutes." And he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "This happened at her last show too." And it did, except she didn't disappear in the bathroom. In this case, they were literally like at the bar ordering drinks while the entire crowd is like, is something happening? Like, it was beyond weird to me. Like,
Maybe it was part of the performance.
I'm definitely going to talk to them about that next time, because that is
No doubt. They got
an
some
intermission and a
splaining.
30-minute set is just,
Yeah.
Clever.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Like, I built that into my contract.
Yeah, I only have to perform for 20 out of every 30 minutes of my
I
set.
loaded the gear, and that's I'm getting paid the low gear in. So
Get the legal team on it, Nick.
Yeah, get the legal team on it.
All right, we got 2 more left. A psychedelic rock band wouldn't start at their scheduled time because their singer said he wouldn't be comfortable until the mushrooms kicked in. True or false?
True.
Ethically speaking, that's true. So let's go with my ethical instinct here. Yeah, dude's tripping balls. He's good. He's good.
Nick?
sure, true. Why not?
Nick just don't know drugs, so he's going to agree with me.
That is false. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie, that has happened to me before, but not Infringement Festival.
Those are bad shrooms.
Yeah, that guy was a dick. All right. I'm not bitter or anything.
No, neither are mushrooms.
Me, no. All right. So here's the last one. Frank and Mike, you are tied at 5. Nick, you have 4. When a performer canceled on a folk show at the last minute, I filled in by playing my first solo set in 17 years. True or false?
I being who?
Who's
You?
the artist?
I
from-
being you?
You're the artist known as I.
Yes.
He would be the artist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with true.
Clever
He being
name.
him.
I'm going to go with true as well.
False.
Happened.
It happened. It's true.
It was my only saving grace for that last.
It was a solid 35-minute set where 20 minutes were like the 5 songs I could remember how to play, and the rest of it was me starting a song
Bass
and getting
players,
like
man.
halfway through the verse and being like, I got nothing. I don't know how to play this.
Hey, bass players, I gotta hand it to you.
And then, yeah. Bass is way easier. And then like having someone.
Don't tell them that.
Someone was so insistent that I play Wonderwall that like I literally had someone shouting the chord changes at me while I was trying to sing it and play it. That was, no, just no.
You needed the capo
Brave,
for
though.
that one, too. You needed the capo for that one, too.
I did need a capo, and I didn't have one because I didn't bring my equipment.
See?
Not gonna lie.
It's relevant.
I could have done like 3 more songs if I had my capo. God damn it.
I performed that song in the past with other cover bands, so that's a capo on 2 for that one.
Yeah, that is best. All right. Well,
Who won? It's
no.
a tie.
it's a tie, Frank and Mike.
Didn't
Which
win.
means there's only one winner
There's only one winner.
with the bad prizes, correct? Oh, no. So the loser wins.
These aren't that bad of prizes, though. but- I was gonna say, do you want something sugary or something explodey?
You already told us I want the one you didn't tell us what it is.
All right.
Haha.
I think if it's a tie for first place, the other person should win because that way they're not following the crowd.
All right, I'll go with
Good
that.
point.
As I sit here with 3 white guys in front of me, musical crackers. Get it?
What?
Musical crackers.
Hot damn.
Musical crackers.
Musical themed New Year's Eve noisemakers that someone got me, and I couldn't tell you why. I have no use for them.
Oh, we're partying.
Okay, Robin Reed, 8 handmade crackers. Party fun for all the family. Musical crackers. I can't read under this here. Create your own orchestra. Are they crackers or are they?
You don't eat
for
them,
consuming.
Nick. You don't put them in your soup. It's not really.
I think
what
you
they're-
just
I'm
pull them
intrigued.
and they explode. I thought.
They're a musical instrument. This is for Frank. Frank's got to play this one in between songs.
Sure.
Perfect.
Inside each
They're gonna
handmade
use them.
cracker.
Yeah. This is actually a good fitting prize for you guys.
Well, look how intrigued
All right.
he is.
Well, Frank gets to play them, so he gets a prize for winning.
Frank's
technically
gonna
as well.
Yeah, buddy.
in between guitar solos.
We didn't ask them the very important thing of when are their next shows?
Oh,
when do we
yeah.
get to come and see you play?
Yeah.
There are things coming up.
We have
Our
a
next show
a
is in
WW.
early October.
W
33 Speakeasy.
Gimme Gimme WNY.com, and that'll take you all to our social medias.
There you go.
Oh, yeah,
the
we got 2
meteors.
shows coming up in October, November, December.
Got your phone on? Where's your calendar? Check your
No,
calendar.
my phone's over there on silence, but yeah, October
It's
7th.
on, isn't it?
Hard Rock Cafe is in November, right?
Ooh.
We're
Yeah,
jumping around.
Thanksgiving Eve. Yeah, we were still in October.
Oh,
We're jumping
sorry.
around quite a bit, but all the posts.
Well, it's good to know because the podcast not only will be posted, but for, progeny to enjoy.
So yeah, October 7th. It's a Friday. It's here's your phone. I can't unlock that one.
Oh, that's
not
my
mine.
phone. Thanks for fucking with it.
You said it was over there.
All right. Check out their social media sites
Yeah, I tried.
to get all of the information about their upcoming
Gimme
shows.
Gimme WNY.com, and that'll take you to all the social medias. We've got Facebook. We've got the Instagram,
All the
and
things.
YouTube.
And your
And
video
the
for
grinder.
Music is Art looks really great. We're going to
Thanks.
skip that one. The video looks really great, and you've got that one up on YouTube. So in case anyone wants to see your set from Music is Art,
Nick Cam, right?
Yeah.
Hongs Cam.
it's pretty cool.
So next up, we are going to play a track from Marina Laurendi.
Okay.
I saw her 2 weeks ago at Milky's. She played. She was kind of accompanied by one of the guys from Friendly Foes, who also played on the bill. She has such a beautiful voice. She's a really great performer. She is a local singer-songwriter, and I think she's on her way up. This song is called "Neighborhood Kids." It reminds me of like hanging out in the neighborhood when I was a kid. Oddly enough.
As it should, I guess.
So we will be right back with one
Awesome.
more segment. But first, Neighborhood Kids by Marina Laurendi here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
Nothing feels different when I'm hanging with the neighborhood kids. Oh, hockey on the driveway, crushing on my brother's friends. Oh, sunset, walking down the street till it gets dark. 9 o'clock, baby, will you meet me at the skate park? Nothing feels different when I'm hanging with the neighborhood kids. 8 years tick by in the blink of an eye. Oh, crazy little town, fire and whispers in the sky. Oh, we got lost chasing dreams in a brick walls, surfing in quicksand, diving in a pit. bittersweet, baby. I got nothing to chase it. The music's been here, but we don't wanna face it. Nothing feels different when I'm hanging with the neighborhood kids. Nothing feels different when you look at me the way you did.
And welcome back to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Neighborhood Kids by Marina Laurendi. Check her out. It's on a 4-song EP that she released, and it's all really, really good. That is all we have for episode number 97. That's 97. A whole lot of episodes. First off, something to announce. We are going to have our 5-year anniversary episode. We are recording it live at Milky's on October 15th. We got 4 hours of interviews and games and performances. The performers include, oh, come on, Ryan, you can do this. Shannon Vanderlyn, Goodbye Metro, and Lone Star Sailing, we had on our other podcast, and they're super interesting guys. We're still waiting on one more act. That'll be on October 15th, so come and check that out. We did it last year with Brookhaven and Stress Styles and Trey Ocho, and it was so much fun.
It's great.
So we don't have a guest lined up for our next episode, but some future people that we're going to be include some folks from over at Buffalo Ironworks, West Falls Center for the Arts, the band Real Movement, who just released an EP in the last couple weeks.
Which was great.
Is it?
From what I've heard, yes.
I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it is. Everything those guys do is excellent.
Been listening.
All right. Gimme Gimme.
You've been got.
Oh, I wanted to put that S on the end. It's so hard.
You didn't do it.
I didn't.
Good for you.
This is awesome. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming on,
Thanks
guys.
for
This was
being
a
here.
treat.
Definitely thank you for having me.
Awesome,
Excellent.
folks. Well, we will see you in a few weeks for episode 98. And just remember that stuff's really fucking hard out there. So just be nice to everyone and keep on struggling. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for the crackers.
No, that is way off key. Usually I can hit that note. I know where the theme song is.
And let me just say what nobody else wants to say to you. Your looks have become a problem.